Hi, I'm Tim Parker, and today we'll be delving into Chapter 16 on concentration in our text, Foundation of Sport and Exercise Psychology. As a class, we've hoped to develop a better understanding of the components of concentration as they relate to improved or impaired performance for our athletes and our clients. We can define concentration, we see in the book, and we can use attention interchangeably with the word concentration. As to our needs in sports psychology, there's four useful parts. We have focusing on relevant cues in the environment, also known as selective attention, maintaining attentional focus over a period of time, the duration of a competition, awareness of a situation and performance errors, that way an athlete can self-correct, and shifting attentional focus when necessary, being able to focus on different variables throughout a competition. This chapter offers a tremendous amount of useful information that can aid us in improving our athletes' and clients' abilities to concentrate during competition and various other activities. But I would like to focus on one in particular, self-talk, and how it can impact an athlete both positively or negatively. Today I have two of my wrestlers, my middle school wrestlers with me, Chase and Aspen. And I want to try to help you guys to understand the concept of self-talk and how you can use it to aid in your performance, okay? I have a short self-talk assessment, and we sort of went over it beforehand, and then we'll get to it in long form here in a minute. We'll review and share a little bit about what self-talk means and how it can help you. And in our case, we're looking at it as wrestlers, okay? And we've talked about this before. Self-talk is any statement or thought about yourself that you say to yourself, an internal type of thing, okay? Appropriate self-talk can help you focus on the present and keep on the task at hand. And there's a reason I say that. Because we always want to stay in the present. Don't dwell on past mistakes. When you dwell on past mistakes, what does that do?
Definitely makes your confidence go really low. Like if you're wrestling someone that beat you.
Absolutely, your confidence is going to go down because you're worried about what happened and not what is going to happen. That's why, and I'm sure over the course of the season you heard me say it, we got to stay focused on the present and what we're doing, the task at hand. So I would say let it go and move on.
Don't let the past affect your future.
Don't let the past affect your future. Very good. But I'm also talking about future. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves either. We don't want to predict what's going to happen in our wrestling match, do we? So it's important we stay in the present. So focus and be in the moment. Now, before we get into the assessment, I just want to talk real quick about three types of self-talk. We have positive, which in your mind could be, I can do this. Negative, I just blew it. And then there's instructional, which is also sort of a part of a positive. Like in wrestling, we might say hips out because we want our hips away from our opponent, create space. The categories of self-talk, as we see in our textbook, we have the psych up, which could be, you say in your mind, power or supreme. I knew a lot of weightlifters who used the word supreme, if any of you are familiar with bigger, faster, stronger. Confidence, you might say in your mind, I can beat him. Instruction, focus on technique, get my hips out. Anxiety control, calm ourselves down. We might say relax. Then we have the categories of negative self-talk. Worry, oh, I'm wrong again. I hit the wrong move. I shouldn't have done that. Then we have disengagement, where, and this happens a lot in wrestling, where they simply say, I can't continue. I can't keep going. Things get tough, okay? Also in wrestling, we run into somatic fatigue. I'm tired. Wrestling is a tough sport. You guys know that. Wrestling, 4.5, 6 minutes, depending on the match, can be long and tiresome. And if you start in your mind, I'm tired, I'm beat, you're defeating yourself, right? Then we also have neutral self-talk, which are irrelevant thoughts that might not pertain to the event at all. The one that I'm talking about here is like, what's going on later tonight? Or, I wonder what my mom's making for supper. If you're thinking about that while you're wrestling, do you think you're probably not focused like you should be? Or maybe you're just not challenged enough either, which does happen. I took this, and like most coaches do, we like to reappropriate things that work for other people, from a self-talk assessment inventory based off of the 7 Steps to Peak Performance by Richard Swin. It's just a few questions that'll help aid you in focusing on the type of self-talk that we want to be using and what we might want to change going forward, okay? So, as of right now, we'll go over this. And I had the guys go over it with me before, and we're gonna hit the points right now. It's a short self-assessment. First question is, circle in one answer to the question. How often do you have negative thoughts during competition? And you guys circled,
I said sometimes.
okay?
I said often.
And Aspen often. Now Aspen has really come a long way. I really wanted him involved in this video because a couple years ago, Aspen was a virtual wreck. Good wrestler, but he was always worried about the outcome, worried about what's gonna happen. But he's come a long way. This year he was, I think he only lost 1 match in junior high, and he's been spectacular in postseason as well. So he was often that he has these. Now, how do they affect your performance?
I said they always help me because
Okay,
just having that little boost of confidence can
okay.
put a little bit of gas in the tank and keep you going.
And Chase is a very positive athlete, and I can see that. As I coach him, he probably would have very positive, self-affirming type of an attitude through this. So what did you have, Aspen?
Well, when I have negative thoughts, sometimes they hinder me. It
Right.
doesn't, it just
Right,
doesn't help me.
and you're absolutely right. Whereas Chase can sometimes, as we talked about earlier, take those negative thoughts and twist them into a positive sort of harnessed rage-inducing sort of thing that he gets into. But I've seen where they could hinder you at times. So, I mean, you're being very honest with this inventory. Now, that's something I think we can work on moving forward, don't you? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you are getting better. I mean, absolutely getting better through and through. So, second question is, suppose you're competing and you just made a major error. What are you likely to be thinking now? And go ahead and answer yours, Chase.
I put, how can I get into a better position?
Position.
I put, how can I refocus and prevent reoccurrence?
Okay. Chase thoughts immediately go to his position, repositioning, getting into a better position. Aspen thought goes to not letting this situation occur again. So, do you think these thoughts are positive or negative?
I think they're positive.
I think so too.
Positive.
Absolutely. In neither of these do I see any negative self-talk going on. They're just coming at it from a different angle. So, we'll move on to number 3. Are these thoughts likely to help you adjust, or are they useless?
I put useful.
I put useful.
Absolutely. I think in both situations they are useful. We're staying away from the mainly negative stuff. We're talking about positive self-talk here. So, suppose you're competing and things aren't going as well as you'd hoped or expected. What are you likely to be thinking now? And the way I explained it to these guys was, you may be wrestling someone who you've beaten twice before, and you think that you should be winning the match by 10 points by the end of the first period. But sometimes that doesn't happen. So, what do we want to do in this situation?
I put re-strategize, and if it's more of a team sport, make sure your team's, not arguing or making sure they're helping each other and just being there for each other.
That football reference, multi-sport athletes.
I put rebuilding my confidence level.
Okay? Working to rebuild your confidence. And that's something we've been working on. Absolutely. So, once again, it asks, are these thoughts negative or positive?
They're positive.
I put positive.
Positive. I'm not hearing much negativity, so that's great. Now, Now this, we talked about this, are these thoughts about strategy, or they reflect feelings and emotion? And this is where we split a little bit with these guys, because Chase?
I put strategy.
I put feelings and emotions.
Absolutely. Chase is trying to re-strategize and look for a different approach, whereas Aspen is coming from a more emotional state and putting himself in a better place for a better performance. So, and I think that speaks volumes. So, you know, you guys did a great job on this assessment, and you know, we have a lot more wrestling season to go through. And you know, in my notes, you know, it's what we've talked about today. I think that as we progress these next couple of weeks, we'll be able to sort of revisit this and see if we're where we want to be, right? And work on these things and get better. So, you know, working with the age group of athletes that I work with, simply stated, I like to try to keep it positive. Now, Chase talked a little bit about little negative self-talk, gives him a little bit of a boost. But knowing Chase, I think the majority of his self-talk and what he says to himself is of the positive manner. He's a strategist. He's looking to reset and attack it from a different angle. So this assessment, pretty simple. You know, like I said, working with the age group kids I work with. There are many much more in-depth, comprehensive self-talk assessments, like the ASTIQS, the Automatic Self-Talk Questionnaire for Sports, that was developed at the University of Thessaly in Greece. We also have the Self-Talk Scale, used for development, factor analysis, and validation by Taylor and Francis Group, and that was developed at the Department of Psychology at Middle Tennessee State University. So really, in summary, I feel that keeping it positive, keeping it in the present, and following up with my athletes and tracking their progress will help with our implementation and use of self-talk. And just want to say thanks for watching, and have a great night.